Hello guys, do you know making a realistic and flawless looking frontal wig just like this is like cooking a delicious meal? No one is going to believe this is a DIY wig with ventilation making use of an attachment, and yes, it is looking realistic. You have been wondering why yours is not coming out as realistic as mine? And right here in this video, when you join me on this journey, I'll be telling you some tips and tricks as to why your ventilation or your knotless braid is not looking realistic. It is not giving that scalp effect. And if this sounds like something you're interested in, please watch this video to the end. And here's the frontal making use of for this tutorial, which is an 11 by 5.5 Swiss frontal, and I'll be going in with this mesh dome wig cap, which comes in color brown. It comes in different colors such as nude, black, dark brown, and light brown. And away from this Canva head, I'll be measuring about 8 inches away from this, and I then place my wig cap. If you want to know how to achieve a glueless wig, I'll be dropping the link in the description box and how I describe that. And right now we're going to the placing of the frontal, and I fold the frontal net into 2 equal halves, and I make sure I place the T-pin to the midpoint. And so I'll go ahead and then place that midpoint right on the midpoint of the Canva. It's coming out by 3.5 to 1 inch, and here in this video I came out by 1 inch. And I also go ahead and make sure I pin the midpoint is in alignment with the front. So going to the sides, you must make sure when you're trying to lay your closure net, it is kind of flat. So I made sure there are no bumps, and I make sure about half inch or 1 inch, up to 1 inch is hanging out from the wig cap by the side. I'll also be doing this by the other side. I would go ahead and pin that down and make sure it is laying flat. I'll do the same. So you can see I'm trying to make sure it is laying flat. Please make sure it is laying flat so that your wig is going to look so realistic. And when it forms an M shape like this, you have actually placed it well. And you can see by the side, it is just coming out by 1 inch away from that side. So I've gone ahead to sew it down. And yes, luckily for me, this wig cap is my perfect size. There were no need for adjustment. And I'll be going in for this tutorial with this Shine and Jam, my Gorilla Air Wax. And I'll be going ahead to apply the Shine and Jam to the hair, which I ventilated with attachments. I like the Shine and Jam. It makes the hair slip well. It doesn't have to make it look rough. It makes it silky and shining. So now for this tutorial, I'll be parting the hair into 3 equal halves and plait the portion based on how thin you want it to be. For me, I just plaited it about 3 times, and I take this portion of an attachment, I hang it to the side, pulling out the other, plait that, then pull it into my hands. Then I'll do the same thing. Now the quantity of attachments you take is based on the size you want to go. If you want a small braid, a medium braid, or a large braid. For me, I didn't want something too small or too big. I wanted something in between. Should I just call it a medium? So I'll keep going. I'll keep adding this. You make sure you're still going with the same quantity of air you've added the first time. For me, I'll keep adding till I get the desired size I want. So when I've achieved the desired size, I stop. So at this point, I had achieved the desired size. That means I went in, I took about just 6 pieces of attachment, just took the attachment 6 times, and here's the size I wanted. So now I'm done. Now at this point, it was getting thinner, so you just have to add an attachment to that so that up doesn't look big and it goes thinner. So you want to make it the same size while you are still trying to approach the tip. So I went ahead to add a little Gorilla Wax to my hand, as this Gorilla Wax helps to keep in leave-in air that wants to fly out, makes the attachment, that is the flying out attachment, slip well, and it gives your attachment or your hair a very neat and look and good finishing braid. So I'll do that. I was trying to make sure I use my hand to section it. The hairs are not going in between each other. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. Make sure you ensure consistency. The size you picked for the first braid you made should be the same size for the second braid you are going to be making. Now when it comes to knotless braids, there are different ways to braid a knotless braid, but for me, I think I love this part, this style or this method, because it's quite very easy, and I found this very easy. I also have a video which I've uploaded back. I showed 2 ways on how to braid a knotless braid. So if you don't find this convenient, I'll be dropping the link in the description box So you go ahead and go watch it. If you're comfortable with that method, you can use that. There is not one method when it comes to making a knotless braid. And also, when you make a knotless braid, your ventilation is very important. Even if your braid is so neat and your ventilation is not looking realistic, there is no need. Like, it just looks like, oh, see this kind of, like, when someone comes close to you, he or she knows that you're putting on a wig. And you know, when I make a braid or knotless wig, yeah, you know, they come out so realistic. You could go check out other videos that I have. I also dropped, I've dropped a video on how I ventilated this. You can see the ventilation is looking so realistic, and yes, it is made of an attachment. And at this point, I went ahead to add more gorilla wax to it so that it could look neat. So I keep braiding. So I'll do that till I get to the end. So as you can see, I made sure the sizes were the same thing. So I'm done braiding the front, and this is what the front looks like. It is so neat. It is, the ventilation is already giving a scalp effect. Like, this is neat. Like, and I so love this. Like, look at this. So if you want to know how I ventilated this, check out the description box. Go check out the video on how I ventilated this, and make sure you follow the rules which I stated there. So now we are done with the front. I'll go ahead and pack that side. So we'll move to the back. So now I'm going to the back. I'll be crocheting on this side. I'll be making use of the crochet method, and I'll be making use of this small pin, crochet pin. I prefer this small crochet pin as compared to the big one because it doesn't leave a hole or doesn't leave a big tear. So I went in with the size of an attachment, of this attachment. So I'll go ahead and use the pin and crochet between the wig cap and the net. Then I'll use the crochet pin to drag out the hair. So I make sure I use my hand to smoothen that part so it looks smooth when I'm bringing it out of the crochet, when I'm crocheting it out. And so you try to use your hand and bring out the other side while you hold the other side, and make sure by the time you fold both of them they're equal. Now you'll be going in with another size of attachment that, you know, when you fold that one you've crocheted, it's going to be the same size with it. So this size of attachment, I went in to pick the size. So when I fold this particular one, it's going to be the same size as one as that. So you use your hand to tie it. Then while you fold these two and you tie it so tight and you braid this way. So this method is very, very easy, and it's quite very easy. So at this point, I didn't want the tip to be very big, so I just went in with the feeding method also. So I kept adding till I got the desired size. I didn't want to have the desired size at the tip because that place started looking so bogus. So as you can see, that tip is much more smaller. So I keep braiding till I get to the end. I hope you all are really enjoying this video. Please don't forget to drop your suggestion or your thoughts in the comment box below. So for the next one, you just be leaving just a little space, just something just little, so that they don't overlap on each other. That's why I advise just a little space between them. So I'll still be going in with that same particular method I used. I'll just keep using the crochet method and the feeding method. As you can see, make sure you fold them, they are the same length, and you also still go in with another bigger size than the one which you've crocheted, such in a way that when you fold that one you've crocheted, when you fold it into two back, it is the same size as one of the other one. And so you make sure you use your hand to tighten it, then you hold both of them and cross each other like this particular way I'm doing this, as you can see, and you start braiding. So I'm so sorry, please don't mind my background noise, and where I am, this is quite noisy. So sorry about the background noise. So you keep braiding till you get to the tip of the braid. So I kept doing that. So as you can see, I've gone off camera to crochet and braid them, and you can see the tips are looking so tiny. They are not looking so large, so it has to look very realistic. Make sure the tip of that side are looking small, and the gap between them is just little, so they don't have to overlap. Just leave a little gap between them, and you crochet to this point. I usually advise you don't crochet at that point because it sits behind your ear. So I've gone up camera to do that, and you can see what it's looking like. It is covering the back. So I didn't crochet that point because I don't want to braid that side, so the braid it doesn't inconvenience the ear side. So I'm done with the side, and I'm also done with the front. So I'll be going to the back, and I'll be working with this T-pin, the chalk, and this tape roll, and I'll be marking out my guidelines. So I went ahead to use the T-pin to hold the tape roll down and hold the other side, and I'll be marking out 1 inch interval between them all. So marking 1 inch till I get to the other side, that is to the end of the wig cap. So I'm done. I'll be taking out the tape rule and connect those lines together to form the guideline. I usually like making use of a guideline, as this guides me on where to braid so that it doesn't overlap each other and look so bogus. So I braid in between them. So I usually like going in with guidelines. This makes my work so easy and gives me a clearer guide on how to crochet or where to crochet. So I am done drawing the guidelines, as you can see. So we'll be going ahead with braiding, and for the back and making use of a color 39. So I just want to make use of 2 colors, that is color 2 and color 39. So I will be doing the same thing which I did by the side. Take a small piece, then I still made use of the small pin. I usually don't like the big pin, like I said. It leaves a very big hole, and you know the size that I want to braid is just the medium size. So when I use that big pin, it leaves this big hole and it doesn't make the work look neat. So I usually like going, or I advise, the small pin. So you're also going with the same method. You take a size that is much bigger than this, just the same way you've done the front. You'll be doing it with the same color 39, which is the same way you do it at the back. But at the side, we just have to like crochet in. We have to braid in between. So you keep doing this. You make sure you tie it well, and make sure the knots are very tight and while you braid. So you keep doing this. Just make sure whatever you're braiding at the back is the same size as that of the front. You don't want to have a small front and at the back is looking that big. And I still advise, even though I steal the back, make sure it is neat and make sure the size is the same. So I'm done with this. So doing the same thing, I'll still go on with the small crochet pin and leave some gap between them to make sure that it is not so closed up and it doesn't have to look bulky. So I'll still go into the same method just as that I have been using. So you make sure you're still doing the same thing. So and just watch what I'm doing closely. You're going to get it, because just watch it closely. Just make sure you're taking caution of everything you're doing. So you still do the same thing that you've been doing for this side. You also do it for that same side. So you keep braiding and keep doing the same thing for that same side. So you can see what the back is looking like. There are gaps between them. So the next one I'll be doing will be in between these two, as you can see what I've done. So the one I'll be crocheting would be in between it. So it will be falling in between these two that I've braided. As you can see, it is falling in between this. I usually advise the in between method because the hair doesn't overlap on each other and it makes it look flat. And since it's the back, you don't have to overload it with so many braids. It's just the back. So when you get to the front, so the gaps between the two braids should not be much. Is the front. So I'm going off camera. I'm done using the color 39. So you can see what the back is looking like. It's not so scant, it's not too scanty and it's not too full. It's just well arranged to the proper number. So I'll be going into using the black. Since I am done using the color 39, I just want the wig to look like an highlighted wig. So the back, so that when I have to bring it to the front, it's going to look like an highlight. So I'll be doing the same method just as the one I have been doing for the back. So making use of the black is still the same thing. So just going with the crochet method and braiding. So there are different methods to this. You could also use the feeding method. You could use another method different from this, but I find this very simple and easy. So I am done with everything, and this is what the final look of the hair is like. The ventilation is already coming out and it is giving. Yes, like no one is getting, like this is, it's very obvious. Like this is so pretty. If you follow what I've been saying, if you watch the video on how I taught to how to ventilate this, you'll have something just exactly as mine. I make this of a zigzag pattern, and yeah, the zigzag pattern is obvious. We can all see it, and as you can see the back, it is not too full. Like I said, it's looking like an highlighted wig. So, and the hair is quite long, about 36 inches long. So now we are done with the front, and everywhere I raise it up, you can see this is made of an attachment, guys. It is not even a blend or a human hair. This is an attachment, and it is already looking so beautiful. So since I'm done with this, I'll be going ahead to be dipping in the hot water and also with the trimming. So I'll be trimming this. You can also use the fire or a lighter to trim it. I decided to just trim mine since the leave out air are not that much. So I'll be going off camera to go trim the rest because I don't want this video to be very long. So I've also gone ahead to add baby hair off camera. As you can see, I've also added my baby hair to this. I also used an attachment to add this baby hair to it. So this is what it looks like now. Why I've added a baby hair to it, I still make sure I followed the regular pattern, and I've gone ahead to add hot water to it. As you can see, this is already looking so beautiful and very neat. This is what the back is looking like. It is looking already so beautiful. See the tip, like it is already given. So while I'm done with the hot water, I'll be going ahead to apply my mousse, and for the video I'll be making it on an above mousse. So you can see the front. I'm bringing it close. You can see it is neat. So I'll be going with the mousse, as this mousse helps to make any flyover rest and make those flyover not be obvious. So I applied my mousse generously. Don't be stingy with your mousse, and don't apply too much so it doesn't have to be sticky. Right, this one I've applied is very okay. I'll use it for the whole wig. So I gently massage this onto every part of the wig, from the tip to from the beginning of the braid to the tip. So I'm done gently massaging it, and this is the final look. And to the next, I'll be going in with my foundation. It's going to look like it's bleached. So this is the foundation I'll be working with. I went ahead to apply a little to my hand, though the foundation is a little lighter than me, but make sure whatever foundation you're using is the same tone with your skin. So you gently apply the foundation to it, maybe with your makeup brush. For me, I'm using this particular foundation foam. So I gently apply it to every part of the wig, and this is what it looks like. You can see the color has changed. Putting it on my hand, it is giving a scalp effect already. Now I'll also go ahead to add the wig band, and for the wig band I'll be measuring 9 inches. Then I went ahead to use a fire that is a lighter to burn the tip so it doesn't keep pulling out. So I've also gone ahead to add the wig band to it, to the frontal net, and this is what it looks like after adding the wig band. So I went ahead to place it on my head. So you can see it's already looking glueless. If I don't want to apply a glue to it, it is fine. See, you can see just lifting it up, you can see its head is glueless and it's looking like my scalp already. This is a DIY wig, and you could make yours just as beautiful and realistic as mine once you follow everything or every tutorial and tips I have talked about. So this is what the final look like, and I went ahead to style it this way. I went ahead to use the color 39 to form a band. Everyone was thinking that was a band, but anyways, it's the color 39, and this is the hair, right? I'm leaving it in a center pattern. Like, this is actually very beautiful. I went ahead to use a spray glue to glue it down, and this is the beautiful look. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe to my channel. And if you watch this video to the end, you're the real MVP, and I can assure you that you can now make your own beautiful looking and realistic DIY video. So guys, so check in my description box, or you could go check my other videos out. Thank you for watching this video till the end and sticking with my channel. Love you all.